What's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
And we are back together in the same room.
Yeah, let's go. Oh, okay, there we go. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. I forgot how to listen.
Mm-hmm.
You left and I forgot how to listen.
Mm-hmm. What is this?
What?
It's the Kenobi spoiler chat for episode 4 and 5, because we get Nerdy Nightly.
And we thought we'd share it with you.
That is right. Because of Ragtime, we just straight up didn't cover episode 4 on the channel at all. Yeah. And we're going to do separate videos for them. But why? Let's just do one.
Yeah.
One video.
Yeah, there's no reason to not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full spoilers. Episode 4, episode 5.
Spoilers.
Go.
Get out of here.
Spoil it.
There's a heist and somebody dies. And that's how I summarize these two episodes.
I would say neither of those statements are true.
What?
Well, I guess the second's true. It's not really a heist. It's a rescue.
It's like Ocean's 11, right?
It's more of a rescue than a heist.
Yeah.
They're not like stealing from the Empire. They're saving Leia.
I mean, yeah. Potato.
I guess. I've never really thought of like a rescue of someone as a heist before. I've always thought of a heist as being like...
It's a break-in.
Like Solo is a heist.
Yeah.
This is a rescue.
Sure.
This is A New Hope. Episode 4. Episode 4 is basically the plot of A New Hope condensed into a television episode.
Yeah, and it's fun.
It is fun. It's good.
Yeah.
I don't want to like go beat by beat through that whole episode because I feel like it's a week old now. Everyone's done it, but there are a couple of story beats online that sparked internet curiosity. The first is the Trenchcoat. First of all, how did you feel about the episode as a whole?
I liked it. You know, the last time we talked, we had differing opinions. It wasn't too hot on episode 3. And I'm still not really. If I'm being completely honest, episode 4 I thought was definitely better. There were some very silly things in it. But we all know that Star Wars is nothing if not silly.
A little bit silly all the time, yeah.
So it's my own personal things. But I enjoyed it. Overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think the narrative around the show where people want it to be this like Breaking Bad level serious drama,
or like Batman.
Yeah, and I'm just always like, that's never been what Star Wars has been about. After episode 4 came out, there was someone tweeted like, Vader let Reeva down because she put a tracker on Lola. Vader would never do that. And I literally responded with, have you not seen the first Star Wars movie? Like,
have you seen a Star Wars?
But it is. I've actually tweeted that a couple of times this week. The Vader letting someone go because there's a tracker on them is literally the plot of the first Star Wars movie. Like that is how the Death Star gets to Yavin 4 in A New Hope. Which wasn't even called A New Hope. It was called Star Wars when it came out. Like, it is the plot of the movie titled Star Wars. And so for people to be like, Vader would never do that. That's such a weird, dumb plan for Vader. I'm like, what do you mean? That's literally Vader's like modus operandi.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, the other thing that got a lot of conversation online was the trench coat. Sneaking Leia out in the trench coat. How'd you feel about it?
Very silly.
It's silly in like a Star Wars way that I was like, yeah, I get it. There's a lot of chaos. You know what I mean?
Well, and that was, I think, it's like saving grace, right? Nobody ever tries to break into this place. I doubt it ever goes on like red alert or whatever's going on. Everyone's like a little bit flustered and chaotic. What?
Nothing.
Oh, I haven't seen all of Clone Wars or Rebels, so.
No one ever tries to break into the Fortress Inquisitorius.
Yes. Anyways, okay.
Don't read the comments of this video.
I won't.
This is the problem with you not being fully caught up, is there are things I want to talk about in this spoiler chat in how this episode relates to another piece of Star Wars media that you have not finished yet.
I just plugged my ears.
And so I can't talk about it, but fans of that thing, and you know if you're a fan of that thing what I'm talking about, loved this episode because it is like to the point of almost ripping it off a little bit.
Oh.
So much from other Star Wars things.
I mean, that's exactly what Star Wars does.
Yeah.
It rips itself off all the time. The sequels.
Obi-Wan Kenobi, though, has been particularly self-referential in terms of Star Wars. in the way
Intentionally
the
so.
show has been structured to reference the episodes of the Skywalker saga
Yes.
that Anakin and Obi-Wan are both in
Mm-hmm.
as the episodes of Obi-Wan. And so episode 4 very much lines up with the plot of A New Hope in a way that you're like, some of those beats are literally A New Hope. When Obi-Wan is like behind the pillar and he like makes the noise to make the 2 stormtroopers walk away, I was like, this is literally A New Hope. Like, again, it's like poetry. It rhymes. If you don't like those things, though, and you're like, oh, that doesn't work for me, Star Wars is going to be tough because that is how Star Wars, that's just what Star Wars is.
Yeah.
From the creator himself, Senior George Lucas. That's what he intended for this to be. And so it's one of those, it's those arguments that are tough to fight against because it's these people who want Star Wars to outgrow what it is. And I understand why they want to outgrow what Star Wars is because they have outgrown it. Right? They have grown into more adult media and they struggle to look back at this thing that is made for this all ages audience. And I would argue Obi-Wan Kenobi is less all ages than other Star Wars. I think it's very adult at times.
Really?
We're gonna get to episode 5 in a second. An episode that involved I don't even think I can say it on YouTube. I think we'll literally get like suppressed if I say what happens in episode 5 on YouTube. So we'll get to it.
Why? Because
I don't think you can talk about what are the TikTok words that they use? I don't think that you can talk about unaliving minors on YouTube without your video getting suppressed by the algorithm.
I see what you're saying.
There's some adult stuff in Kenobi.
I mean, it's the same adult stuff that's in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. Yes and no, though. I would argue that Reeva's particular connection to the moment makes it more adult because we are seeing the emotional consequences of having lived through that as a child. But we'll get to that when we get to episode 5. Let's finish up with episode 4 first.
Yeah.
And my point is that like the Star Wars as a brand is not going to outgrow Star Wars, in my opinion, the way that like comics have.
No.
And I think that there's an expectation from this fandom, this nerddom, that Star Wars is going to outgrow what Star Wars was in the same way that like Batman has outgrown what Batman was. But Star Wars isn't going to do that because the people they have in charge of it.
We could outgrow a little less for
what
Batman.
Do you mean? Oh, but that's my point. There are people within the Batman fandom who are like, Batman has always been the dark, gritty one. And I'm like, that is not true. Like, you have accepted this narrative of Batman that's so contemporary. Mm-hmm. And you have, like, retroactively put it on what Batman used to be. And Batman used to be very silly.
Yeah.
Batman used to be for kids.
Yeah.
And, like, kids of, like, the 60s who were not allowed to see a lot of the stuff that we see now, right?
Yeah.
And so Star Wars, because of who is in charge of it, Dave Filoni learned from George, right? We heard it so much at Celebration.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Filoni was constantly talking about what George wanted Star Wars to be and how he tries to bring what George wanted to Star Wars in memoriam. Or not in memoriam, George Lucas isn't dead. In perpetuity, right?
Yeah.
Moving forward. And so I just think that there is that element of the criticism of Obi-Wan Kenobi, where it is these adults who want Kenobi to be a show that it was never going to be.
Yeah.
Disney is never going to make Game of Thrones the Star Wars version.
No. And honestly, I don't need that.
And so I'm okay with them walking her out in a trench coat. It was funny, and it was cute. And in the chaos of the moment, it kind of makes a little bit of sense that people aren't like, what's going on there? They're like, what's happening downstairs?
I mean, here's okay. The trench coat, I was like, okay, fine. The one thing that bothered me, and you and I talked about this already. Mm-hmm. The one thing that bothered me is they built this, like, impenetrable fortress out of material that will break from the weapons that every person is holding in there to protect that fortress. They, like, shoot the glass, and it starts cracking. And I was like, you should have built this thing either to be resistant to laser fire, or people should not have laser blasters if one stray shot can, like, just take the whole thing down, right? Like, because if no one had been there to stop the flow of water, it literally would have taken the whole thing down. And I was like, this is very poor planning.
Well, no one was there to stop the flow of water.
Yeah, they locked the thing.
Yeah, but that is the safeguard.
Yeah, but if no one was there to do that,
I'm assuming there would be an automatic closing procedure. I'm assuming that would happen because we have that now.
We know
they would have that in the future.
We know
this
Stormtroopers' aim. We know Stormtroopers' aim is notoriously bad. There's bound to be a stray laser beam. Every time someone attacks this place, it's gonna collapse upon itself slightly.
It doesn't collapse at all. One section of a hallway gets flooded. That's not this. The structure
and
does
now
not collapse.
destroyed. Like,
so they pump the water out and they put in a new pane of glass. Like it's not as big a deal as you're making it sound like the Fortress Inquisitorius is gonna fall when it's like there is water in a hallway now. That is the like extent of the damage.
Yeah, but like you don't know how that water affects those electronics inside.
I doubt very much. We
It
have the
bothered
technology
me.
to do this now.
It bothered me.
We have submarines that can do this.
I was like, come on.
It's not a problem. You're making it out as if like the Fortress Inquisitorius is gonna fall, when I can tell you quite honestly that those hallways have been flooded before and the fortress is still there. So
I don't know.
I wouldn't worry too much about it.
I think it's poor planning. I think either the structure should be resistant to the weapons defending it, or they should change weapons.
We're going to revisit this conversation in a few months for another reason.
Great.
And I cannot wait.
Oh, good.
I can't wait.
I love that for us. The one last thing before we move on to the
whole
next.
structure is going to fall. It's literally a wet hallway. It's like a wet hallway. They will be fine.
You do not know the structural integrity of this fortress.
I know more about it than you do. I can tell you that.
Sure, but I don't think you have the schematics.
We'll be on the same page soon about this.
Great. And then the other one thing that...
wait, no, I don't want to move on from this yet. I love that your perspective is that they should only build things if they are impenetrable.
No.
Because, like,
just
the
don't
Death
have...
Star has windows that get shattered, too, if you blow them out with a gun.
But not a hand laser.
A hand laser? You can shoot through a wall in anything. They're not, like, made to be impenetrable.
No, but, like, literally one stray bullet hit the glass, and it's like, oh, that's it, game over.
It's an unimportant hall. We need to move on, because I will debate this forever.
I'm just saying.
So what were you going to say?
Okay, so I know that Obi-Wan in A New Hope disappears to become one with the Force.
Yes.
But also, my headcanon is that he disappears so that he doesn't end up in Vader's graveyard.
Yes, we do see the Tomb of the Jedi, where the Inquisitors and presumably Vader have been keeping their trophies.
Including
the bodies,
children.
Yes. A child who was clearly at the Jedi Temple.
I'm like, wow, congrats. You killed someone who's defenseless. Big PP.
But more importantly, we got to pour one out for Tarasanube. Jedi Master, kindly old man, one of the best Clone Wars characters who you have not even met. But, sorry, spoilers, he's awesome. He has a great episode with Ahsoka Tano. And this one made me sad. I was not... As much as I was happy to finally see Tarasanube in live action, this was maybe not the way I wanted that to happen.
Fair enough.
To Tarasanube, we just say farewell. Thank you for everything.
Thanks for the memes.
You were a guardian. There aren't really any Tarasanube memes.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that Tarasanube means that much to many people. I know he means a lot to Joseph Scrimshaw from Force Center. I know that a lot of people reach out to Joseph because they talked about it in his podcast. After seeing this, because he has long been a proponent of the Tarasanube fandom. He might be the leading member. But yeah, Tarasanube and others.
Yeah.
Yeah, not Mace Windu. I know a lot of people thought Mace Windu was in there. He's not. I promise you Mace Windu's not there. There's one shot where people are like, is that Mace Windu? And I'm like, no, it's not. That's not Mace Windu.
All right,
I'm glad it's not. One thing I will say about this scene is I'm glad that they did not try and do the, like, big Jedi reveals.
Oh, here are a bunch of corpses of people that you love.
Yeah, here's every shot is something to talk about. Like, I'm glad that it was kind of generic enough that it was just the emotional weight of the scene was more important than the, like, who is it?
I was honestly, like, half waiting for there to be, like, kind of like a pedestal in the middle that's, like, empty, that, like, has, like, Kenobi's name on it.
That would have been fun.
Wait, like, Vader is so dramatic. Like, literally the drama queen of your, like, high school theater class nightmares.
Yeah.
Right? So I was, like, kind of half expecting him to have already, like, carved out a plinth for him.
Yeah.
But
the main plot of the episode is Leia's there. Obi-Wan goes in and saves her with the help of Tala. Tala is awesome. We'll be talking about her more in a second.
Tala's awesome. Leia's awesome.
At the beginning of the episode, we meet Roken, played by O'Shea Jackson Jr., who is Ice Cube's kid, who played Ice Cube in the movie Straight Outta Compton in a performance that got a lot of people going, oh shit, this kid is, like,
crushed it.
Very talented.
LaCroix did.
And he's great in this. He's much better in the next episode because he has more to do. And not much better. He's just, as we get to know him better, he becomes a more fleshed out character.
Yeah.
And I really, really like his character quite a bit. Also, if you're not following him on Twitter, he is clapping back at trolls about Star Wars stuff, and I'm really enjoying it.
Let's go.
He is quite funny. And so, yeah, they go save Leia. Leia has Lola on her. Reeva does the whole, let me see your droid. I had a droid once. Put a little thing inside of Lola. Turned her into a double agent. And
a tracker.
We get my favorite thing at the end of the episode, which is mentioned early in the episode, where Obi-Wan's like, you got some T-47s back there? And Roken's like, yeah, we do. And I was like, oh, shit!
Let's go!
Oh, the snow speeders. I know they're not snow speeders yet. They will become snow speeders later when they are adapted for whatever, doesn't matter. But the speeders are going to be there. And then they were. They didn't look great, but they were at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Everyone's kind of said it. I don't really care. The emotional moment of them showing up for me, like the hype of that. Yeah. And then the like surprisingly gut-wrenching moment where Wade died.
Yeah.
I didn't care that the speeders didn't look like the best.
Yeah, I was like, whatever, fine.
Yeah, it was all right. Yeah, like I was like, oh wait, I don't think it hit me when he died, but it was when Tala gets on the ship and Tarokin is like, I guess you are soldiers now, and I was like, oh my god, that's awful. That's terrible.
Yeah.
It hurt a little bit.
Yeah. Leia stand out in this episode. She's awesome, being interrogated, and she's like pulling her own like con like.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh.
Well, if we're all on the same side, I can tell my dad first, right? Because we're all on the same side. And Reeva's like, you.
Yeah.
I was like, Reeva's about to slap her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was like, I see what's going on here. But yeah.
Also, Leia stands up to interrogation.
That
wasn't something she learned when she's an adult. She's been doing that since she was a child.
Literally.
I do love how much of the original trilogy Leia we do see the start of in this episode. Like there's so many, not references, but there's a lot of like
homages,
emotional and like character beats that feel like, oh yeah, this is the same person.
Yeah.
And I really like that.
It definitely feels like young Leia.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. Overall, pretty good episode. I enjoyed a lot of it.
I like that Obi-Wan did the twirl from the prequels.
Yes.
When he kills the.
I did notice that.
He did this.
Hey.
And you know what? The internet did not get as upset as they did about the twirl from Boba Fett. Anyway, episode 5.
Episode 5, my favorite episode so far, I think.
Yeah. Like, it's amazing.
It's funny because
it's so good.
Because Empire Strikes Back is a lot of people's favorite movie, also. Like, you know, is widely accepted to be the best of the Star Wars movies by a lot of people. So I thought that was kind of fitting. I'm sure they didn't intend for that, but I do think that this was the best episode.
Yeah. I want to talk about a couple of things in this episode. We don't need to go beat by beat.
Do you think the Ewoks are going to come back in next episode?
No. Because I don't think they know the Ewoks exist yet, right?
Yeah, you're right.
This is like...
No, you're right. I got excited.
14 years before...
I'm sorry.
No, it would be awesome, but it's 14 years before Return of the Jedi. I think there will be an alien species that is important to next week's episode, though.
Yeah.
In an homage to the Ewoks.
Yeah.
I just don't think it will be the Ewoks. Maybe it'll be the Wookiees. What about the droid attack on the Wookiees? Although I guess they're kind of, like, enslaved by the Empire at the moment on Kashyyyk. So maybe not. We'll see.
Fair enough.
It's a little dark. Star Wars has some dark stuff if you read the books.
They also really like their triple Ys. I'm currently playing Fallen Order right now, and like everything has like...
There's only 2 Ys.
No.
In Kashyyyk, there's 2 Ys. It's Kashyyk. There's not 3.
Is it the bird that just has 3?
Oh, maybe, yeah. I can't remember what
I don't know, but I was like, why are there so many Ys?
Yeah. But there's 2 in Kashyyyk. Anyway.
I can't read.
So,
I can't read.
Much like Hoth, but without the snow, the Empire is bearing down on the rebel base, and yeah, that's the plot of the episode.
Yeah.
But at the very beginning of the episode, Reeva, the internet's either most favorite or least favorite Inquisitor, depending on which community you're in, I like her quite a bit more now after this episode. I've been like on the Reeva train since episode 3, right?
Yeah.
I've been pretty hot.
Episode 1 and 2, we were kind of like, I don't get it. And now we get it.
Well, and here's the thing, and this is why watching stories in their entirety is important. Because I didn't get Reeva in episode 1 and 2. I didn't understand what her purpose was. I didn't really understand where she fit within the rank of the Inquisitors.
And like her acting, like choices.
She's the only Inquisitor that we've ever seen be kind of like that we've ever seen any of the other Inquisitors be dismissive or rude to, and I was confused about why they chose to do that. And then as the story goes on, that stuff made sense. And her place within that made sense, and their relationships made sense. And now looking back, I'm like, oh, I get why they did it that way, because they were leading to something. And that this is why you shouldn't judge things. And I know that we're going to keep putting out episodes. We're going to do reviews episode by episode. It doesn't matter. But my point is that you can't decide what your final feeling about a character is going to be after episode 1.
Yeah.
I think it's fair after episode 1 to go, I don't know if I like the character yet or not. I'm going to see what happens.
Totally.
And I think that's where we were.
Mm-hmm.
It's different than the people like, I hate her forever. She's the main character of Obi-Wan now. And I'm like, she's really not. I don't know what. Yeah.
No. So I have a question about
I really like her.
Inquisitors.
Yes.
Are they all ex-Jedi?
Pretty much, yeah.
So then why is Reeva the one that they say is like from the gutter and like less than? Because
she played dead. So we learned in this episode that Reeva, in the scene that everyone wanted, Star Wars theory, you got it. The thing that you were like, I hate this show because they didn't do this thing I wanted. You literally had to wait 1 week, dude. Literally. Like, you had to wait 1 week. Anyway.
Embarrassing. Very embarrassing.
Okay, well, you don't have to go that far. But you did. So Reeva says that she played dead.
Yeah.
And she hid, and she, like, ran away.
Mm-hmm.
And so she lived in the gutter. A lot of them went to the dark side earlier than that. So a lot of them became Inquisitors much earlier than she did. And so she went out and, like, hid from them for a while and then became an Inquisitor later. And so I think that that's what that is in reference to.
That doesn't really make any sense to me because it was either live or die, and she chose live and then went to the dark side.
She did eventually go to the dark side because she chose to hunt Vader. Yes.
Yeah.
So she chose to go to the dark side for you know, the anger leads to hate. Anger leads, hate leads to... It's the path to the dark side, and her anger towards Vader became the reason why she became dark side, which is awesome. And it all goes back to his choice to go to the dark side led her to the dark side because he literally, like, stabs her.
Murdered everybody.
And stabs her. And also, this episode is a great time to go, hey, if you get stabbed in the stomach with a lightsaber in Star Wars, you're not dead.
Yeah, it literally, like, cauterizes itself.
But, like, all the people were like, I can't believe they broke canon, the Grand Inquisitor's dead. And I was like, Darth Maul survived on hate and anger for years.
Yeah.
Darth Maul built himself robot legs in a cave.
Yeah. Yeah, literally, like unless, like, I see someone's head get taken off, and, like, even then, I'm like, I don't assume anyone's dead.
I know, but it's just been the dumbest. And I've literally, the whole time, I've been like, he's alive. He is going to come back in a moment of dramatic irony. This is what I literally said in our episode 3 spoiler chat. I was like, he's alive, and when he comes back, it is going to be in a moment of dramatic irony, using Reeva as the crutch between him and Vader. And I called it weeks ago because it's storytelling. It's not that hard to see. But all these fans were like, they broke canon. Disney doesn't even watch Star Wars. The guy who wrote this show didn't even watch Revenge of the Sith. And it's just like blatantly false.
Yeah.
And it's just this like smear campaign on Star Wars because they want to be angry. And I just don't get it. It's like so obvious what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. The moment where the Grand Inquisitor steps forward and is like, hi. And she's like, she's just been stabbed. She's like on the ground, and he's just like, Rupert Friend is just having fun. He's like smiling from ear to ear, and you're like, the Grand Inquisitor is scary as hell.
Internally smiling from ear to ear, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, you are a master, sir.
But it's such a good moment.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they built up to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, if he had just been alive in episode 3, you don't get anything out of it.
Yeah.
And so it's this weird, and I feel like our spoiler chat is mostly about the online criticism of the show rather than the show itself right now, because it feels like
I think it's both.
I feel more like we have to respond to the dumb things that people are saying online.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to talk about the show.
Stupid.
This episode's awesome. Tala has one of the best sacrificial moments in all of Star Wars, and I already tweeted it. She might have the best May the Force be with you in all of Star Wars canon.
Yeah.
It is such a good moment.
No, it's beautiful. My one criticism is I feel like she died for no reason.
What do you mean?
Well, she didn't prevent anything from happening. She didn't buy them the time to escape. She didn't do anything. Her death kind of didn't mean much, which I think sucks.
What do you mean? It allowed them to get everyone back and hold off the wave. Like, it literally bought them time.
No, but everyone else was already back. Obi-Wan was the only one waiting for her, and then Obi-Wan lets himself get caught anyways. He comes back out.
Kind of, but in the moment of the battle, she stops the advancement of the Empire and forces them to pull back and regroup.
Yeah,
which literally gives them enough time for Leia to fix Lola. Like she literally gives them time in that moment because the Empire has to retreat momentarily, which is the moment when Vader says to stop, and when they
retreat. Oh, because
you
of the
literally
grenade,
watch
yes.
Reeva run. She's like, nope, and she books it backwards.
Fair enough, I guess. Like, she bought them like probably 20 or 30 minutes.
If Reeva keeps advancing past that point, then the stormtroopers get through to where the kids are.
Do they?
They
close
would have.
the door.
Yeah. No, Tala shoots the door when she blows herself up. But she takes out a bunch of stormtroopers when she blows up that grenade, forcing the Empire to retreat. If she had just shot the door, then the stormtroopers would have just kept advancing to the door and kept shooting through it and all of that.
Yeah.
By blowing up a bunch of them, because when Vader walks through that hallway, there are stormtrooper bodies everywhere, right?
Yeah, oh, for sure.
She literally gives them...
She definitely does some damage.
And she forces the Empire to change their tactic. And the time it takes for the Empire to, like, negotiate their new tactic and figure out what they're going to do next is the time that Leia needed to fix Lola and get the doors open. So, like, she literally saves the day in that moment.
What do you mean a new tactic? Vader's like, no, we have him.
Yeah, but that's because of how Tala plays that moment. But I think that, like, if Reeva had just kept going, because she would have just kept going without the grenade moment, I disagree with that. I think her sacrifice makes everything possible for the end of the episode.
All right, I didn't feel that
Because otherwise,
way.
Reeva just gets through to the kids. Like, what would stop her then?
Or they just close the blast doors behind them.
Yeah, but they can just shoot through the doors again like they did with the last door, right?
Sure, but it still took a while for them to shoot through those doors, you know?
Yeah, but I think the forced retreat, I don't know. I don't agree with that. I think it is important. And I think that, like, it leads to everything that happens afterwards. Obi-Wan going to talk to them, like it
I
is
guess
the, like,
I just like Obi-Wan could have. I don't know. It gave him the time, I think, I guess, to like decide to give himself up and play that card, but it just, I don't know. Like I said, the moment itself was beautiful. Like, I don't want to like disparage any of that. I think it was so well done and well played, and I'm not saying that I don't like the moment. It's just like I thought about it afterwards, and I was like, I just wish it had like meant a little bit more, because it to me didn't really feel like it did.
You know what I think it did is it changed the momentum of the fight. I think that the landslide of the Empire was unstoppable at that point through any means other than something big and boomy.
Right.
And so I think that without this switch in the momentum, I think the stormtroopers just get in and start shooting everybody again.
Yeah.
Like I really do think that her sacrifice was the time, gave them the time needed.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That's just my perspective though.
Yeah. Then we get to watch Vader snatch a ship out of the sky.
Yeah, so Vader. How did you feel about the Obi-Wan Hayden moments, the Obi-Wan Anakin stuff in this episode? Because we do finally get the flashbacks. They're not Clone Wars flashbacks.
No.
Importantly, because Anakin still has his little braid.
Yeah.
His little
They're like
side rat tail.
2 flashbacks.
Well, yeah. When are they? It seems like it would be like either right before episode 2 or like immediate. No, it can't be. Ooh, that's actually a good question. Did he have his robotic hand in those scenes?
I don't think so.
No, so it is pre-episode 2.
I
don't remember him having a glove on. I think he has both of his hands.
I would have to go back and watch for sure, but I definitely didn't notice a glove. Obviously, you know, Hayden Christensen looks older, but it is what it is.
Ewan McGregor almost doesn't, though.
I know, it's so weird.
Ewan McGregor has
aged
aged
the beard.
so well.
The beard, he's aged very well, but also the beard helps,
yeah,
right? It hides like this, which is where like, you
laugh
know,
lines,
and that's fine. People
That's why I still look young.
age.
It's the beard.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you never laugh. I was like, what?
What? That
Well,
doesn't make
laugh
any sense.
lines. You were like, oh, I
we
was
were
like,
talking about the beard.
yes, we're talking about both. Anyways, I think it's like, I don't know. It's like we mentioned it. He looks older. Whatever. I don't care. I don't think
I
it
didn't care
matters.
either. No, it literally didn't affect it at all. For me.
Yeah. I'm like, I know what they're supposed to be doing. It is a reflection of what is currently happening in the circumstances. Like it, I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool to see some like better lightsaber fighting as well. You know, because it's been very slow in terms of combat, like lightsaber combat, because Obi-Wan is old and hasn't like connected to the Force in 10 years.
Yeah, the choreography of that fight to me was really fun to watch.
Fun, yeah, it was fun.
Because lightsabers are tough in training sequences, because it's like they're lethal, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to choreograph around two people trying to win a fight where they can't actually touch each other.
Yeah.
And I thought they did a really good job of thematically telling the story of the episode. And honestly, the lightsaber fight being the like storytelling device of the episode is why I think this is my favorite episode of Star Wars television to date.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, this is like good TV.
Mm-hmm.
You've taken this concept and you've attached it to this episode, and you have like acts of the episode. Because sometimes Star Wars television feels like a section of a movie that's been pulled out, and then you're just waiting for the next section of the movie. This episode very much was framed as an internal story that I followed and was very invested in.
Yeah.
And so I just really, I thought the writing, because, the writing of the show, there have definitely been moments where I didn't love how certain stories ended. This was kind of, I thought the writing of this was really tight, honestly.
For sure. This was definitely my highlight of the show so far. Yeah. And it's hyped me up for the last episode. Really, truly. And I think that's, that means a job well done.
How do you feel about Obi-Wan leaving Reeva to die to escape? Because you have to imagine that Obi-Wan doesn't think Reeva is going to kill Vader, right? Like, you have to assume that that's not the case.
Yeah.
So he's like, we're gonna fight Vader together, right?
What, you're talking about Vader leaves?
Okay, no, okay, so Obi-Wan Kenobi.
You need to say what you said again, because I think you said wrong names.
Obi-Wan Kenobi goes to the door.
Yeah.
And he's like, and in an amazing moment, that is literally what this entire show is about. He goes, oh, you're not hunting me, you're hunting Vader, right? And he's like, let's work together. And she's like, no, I don't need you. Where were you when he went dark side?
Yeah.
Why weren't you there? And I really wanted him to be like, I was on Utapau getting shot at by Commander Cody. He didn't say that. Instead, he's like very hurt for obvious reasons. So then later he's like, well, we can like, and so then later he goes out, right? And that's before the fight. Then after the fight, he surrenders, and he's like, I'm not surrendering to you. I'm bringing Vader, or no, I'm not bringing Vader to me. I'm bringing Vader to you. He says that to her.
Yeah.
And then I thought the insinuation of that moment was like, and then we'll fight Vader together and it'll be cool and we'll like work together.
Yeah.
And then Obi-Wan leaves.
Yeah.
He has to know in that moment that Reeva's gonna die.
Yep.
Like, he really does kind of throw her to the wolves a little bit.
Well, not necessarily. Reeva's the one who decided that was her moment to attack.
I know, but there was a part of me, I
didn't think Reeva was going to. I thought that was going to be next episode. I thought she was going to realize that this was not her moment and wait it out a little bit longer. But no, she just, I guess, couldn't hold off any longer.
No, she goes for it.
She goes for it, which is fine. I don't know if Obi-Wan expected her to just, like, do that now. Like, I don't know.
He kind of sets it up. I'm bringing him to you. Like, that really is what he's there for. I don't know. There was just a part of me that was like, Obi-Wan, you kind of, the girl that you failed when she was a child, you kind of left her to die.
Yeah, but also, what is he gonna do? Like, Reeva is
because the two
evil.
of them together could take Vader.
Yes, and then Reeva also needs to die because she's the worst.
Fair, but she could be redeemed. She was a child who needed.
What do you think her body count is?
What's Vader's body count? You could still, like, turn her away from the dark side.
But he dies.
Oh, 100%. No. But
he could not live and redeem himself.
Oh, we know Reeva dies. I'm not saying that Reeva's gonna survive.
Yeah.
She might survive this now because they might do a season 2.
I'm just saying, for Obi-Wan, what is he supposed to do? She can't live and like become good. Like, she is.
Okay, but Obi-Wan doesn't believe in killing darkside users. He wants to, like, imprison them, right?
He didn't kill her. He just let her make her own decisions.
Yeah, it's tough.
It
was just a little bit like that. Like, this was Kenobi's best chance at Vader. Granted, he didn't know that the Grand Inquisitor was sitting somewhere. my favorite thing about this episode, right, is that the Grand Inquisitor
He's
is
just
fully
sitting there.
healed,
He's like,
and I just want
waiting.
I want the conversation where Vader and the Grand Inquisitor, like Grand Inquisitor wakes up in the hospital,
Yeah.
sitting at his bedside table, Darth Vader, and he's like, Reeva stabbed me through the chest, and Vader's like, listen, I know, but here's the deal.
We're gonna do this thing, and it's gonna be so funny. Like the look on her face.
I need you to come on the mission with us. But first of all, I need the badge off your chest, because I'm gonna make Reeva the Grand Inquisitor. Because you know what we're gonna before we kill her, we're gonna make her think she's getting everything she ever wanted.
Yeah. It's
We're gonna
be so
build
funny.
her up.
We're gonna put it on YouTube.
When people
God.
talk about Vader being the most dramatic villain in history, this is what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Vader must have convinced him that, like, no, we're gonna take her on a little mission, and then after I stab her, you're going to walk through the door, even though he has to, like, the Grand Inquisitor must have come down on the same shuttle as Vader.
He's
and so
waiting in the wings.
You know Vader and the Grand Inquisitor are still on that shuttle being like, this is gonna be rad. Like, this is gonna be the funniest thing we've ever done. Which makes me think that Vader and the Grand Inquisitor are like bros. Like, they're straight up bros. They're like Logan Paul and Jake Paul of the galaxy, right? And they're like, we're gonna pull this prank on Reeva where we stab her in the chest, and then she's gonna be looking up, and then you're gonna walk in and be like, na boo boo. And they had to have planned it. The timing of it is so specific.
Yeah.
Which makes Vader my favorite character of all time.
Like, do you think
Because
Vader
he's
had
evil,
his...
but also, like, so sassy about it.
Yeah. Like, Vader probably had, like, a comm system on this whole time. So that the Grand Inquisitor's, like, waiting for his cue. Like...
Oh, no. If you... I want the shot where, like, Vader's, like, doing all the amazing... Like, I really loved Vader not having a lightsaber, blocking with the Force, and just literally ripping Reeva's lightsaber in half and giving her half of it, and then stealing it back and having two lightsabers. Like, all of it was great. But I want the shot where over Vader's head, you can just see the Grand Inquisitor peeking around a rock watching.
He's like, this is gonna be so good. Yeah.
Vader is, like, there's no way Vader's not bisexual. Vader exists with chaotic bisexual energy.
Excuse me.
You know what I mean?
What?
Like, Vader is too dramatic to be 100% straight.
All right.
You know what I mean? He's a chaotic bisexual demon.
Also, like, his Inquisitors all wear leather, so yeah. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
No, you're
Because
mean.
Palpatine seems very ace to me.
Yeah.
You know, like, he has a kid, but it was a clone
It's through
situation.
the Force.
Vader is like a hypersexual, chaotic, bisexual man whose dick has been cut off by a lightsaber, and then his crotch was burnt by lava. And so he can no longer have any of that kind of fun. And so all of the drama that he would have put into his sex life, he has converted into being a dramatic evil monster, but in, like, a fun way.
Oh, wow.
It's the only thrill he gets in life is moments like this.
Yeah, poor Padme.
No, it was great when she was alive, right? When they were good, they were so good.
Yeah.
Read Brotherhood by Mike Chen. Their dates are cute as shit.
Yes, true that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm freaking stoked for next week.
Me too.
It's gonna be fun.
I love Roken with the bowcaster.
Yeah.
Rad.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
So should we let people know what we're gonna try to do for the episode next week?
We are going to
try. We are going to attempt to set up a live reaction.
Not live.
But like
we are going to record our reaction.
Record a live reaction.
Edit it down to a version that can be monetized for YouTube.
Yes, so we're going to record our reaction.
Every other channel does it. You guys have asked us a million times to do it. We are going to make our first episode reaction this one.
Yes, as opposed to doing, like, the spoiler chats afterwards. Yeah. Hopefully it works out. Let us know what you think about that. If you're excited, because we're gonna have to do, like, a whole setup. So, you know, hype us up. Hype us up.
What is the better lightsaber fight in the Disney Plus era? Is it Anakin, or is it Vader versus Reeva here, or Luke versus the Dark Troopers in the finale of Mandalorian season 2?
Oh.
What's a better moment? It's tough, right?
They're very different, right?
But they're both so, like, that my excitement level for both of them is peak. Like, I was like a microphone. I was, like, in the red the whole time.
I think for me, I was like, I think for me it was the Mando one, just because I was like, and then for Reeva, I was like, girl, oh no. Like, they're very, like, different, and I'm gonna choose the positive one.
Yeah, it's tough. That moment where Vader has two lightsabers, like, literally made my butthole clench in a way you don't feel often. You know what I mean?
No.
Like, it's a feeling that's, like, reserved for, like, Vader with 2 lightsabers, Anthony Starr when he's doing his, like, most dastardly Homelander stuff on The Boys, which we will get to season 3. I promise we'll start making videos about that once we've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there aren't many characters that get to be, like, that scary, and him with 2 I was like, Vader with 1 lightsaber is scary, but Vader with 2 lightsabers did something to me, and I didn't like it.
That's that chaotic bisexual energy.
Oh man, a bisexual man with 2 lightsabers, and a lot of fun to be had.
Jesus Christ.
Did we miss anything? Is there any like big things we didn't talk about?
No.
Do you think we're gonna see Palpatine next week?
No.
I keep waiting for like Vader and Palpatine to have a conversation. I think we might. I think that like at the end of this show, I think we're gonna get a moment of Ian McDermott at the end of the show.
Okay. I don't, but we'll see who's right.
We're also gonna get an air conditioner because this room is so hot. I am so sweaty right now.
Yeah.
I can like see it in my hair.
Honestly, gonna Google it as soon as we turn the camera off.
Yeah, this is unbearable.
Yeah.
This summer is gonna be awful in this room if.
It's not even that hot. It's like 23 degrees outside. Like.
Yeah, but our between our computer and our lights, like this room is unbearable.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, it's not even like as hot as it's gonna be.
Can you imagine
to
what
be fair,
Anakin goes through all the time?
To be fair, it is 27 outside, so it actually is pretty hot today.
27 degrees.
Yeah.
But it's going to be in the 30s over the summer.
Yes.
Yeah, we need an air conditioner.
Yeah, we're going to get one.
I'm going to go change my shirt, which means this video is ending.
Goodbye.
Y'all, if you like this video, like and subscribe to the channel. If you don't, hit the dislike button. Leave me comments down below. Comment down below if there's stuff in these episodes we didn't talk about. We'll bring them up next week.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a really fun reaction. I'm excited to try and make this happen. I don't know how it's going to happen yet, but we're going to try.
It'll be fun.
If you want to follow us around the internet, you can. I am at Nerdy Nightly.
And you can't follow me. I'm nowhere on the internet.
Are we not doing this? Is this not our company anymore?
I am completely anonymous.
Are you retiring from online life?
Claris Polaris.
Do something nerdy tonight.
Bye.
May the force be with you.